Welcome to the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Interviews, a series we created to give even more exposure to startups from the Maritime Startup Ecosystem Network. Today, I'm with Miles Varghese of Cargologik. Cargologik is a beautifully simplified freight collaboration and communication platform that allows both forwarders and shippers to better stay in sync and improve operations. So welcome, Miles. Welcome. Good to see you.
Pleasure to see you too, Leonardo. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the interviews. We love to have as many startups on the interviews as possible because we want to spread the word to the world about startups and about how they're changing the maritime world. And actually, it's a growing ecosystem. It grew from not even 100 startups 3 years ago to more than 300 today and growing. And one of the new startups, new kids on the block, is Cargologik. But Miles is an old acquaintance or friend actually from the ecosystem because he was involved in another successful startup that then got acquired. So basically, Miles has tons of experience to start a new company and make it successful. So Miles, tell us something about Cargologik.
Absolutely, Leonardo. Thank you again for having us on and for giving us and for not only us, but giving startups around the world a voice and a platform. And I think that just a couple of years ago, looking back at your maritime ecosystem startup map, I think, like you said, there's only a handful now, and we can see that exponentially growing over time. And I think it'll just probably be, maybe another year or two before we start getting into the thousands. What do you think?
Cool. You got me by surprise. Actually, you're interviewing me, but yeah. No,
sorry,
it's
Lynn.
great.
It's great to have conversations.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny because yes, it is growing, and actually now it's taking some kind of shape, some kind of proper like hockey stick shape. And yeah, I really hope and count to have to hit the 1,000 mark in a couple of years. Awesome. It all depends on startups. It all depends on the value that we can give to startups and how we can attract them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, but now really I'm super curious. You're keeping us. So tell us about Cargologik. You're the
Sure.
founder of Cargologik, and so tell us about how you created it and what it is about.
Absolutely, Leonardo. My pleasure. So I'm actually a co-founder, and I joined my other co-founder, Luis Trujillo, who actually grew up in the industry. So I was actually recruited by him and one of our investors here in Miami, called Rocker Labs. And as you mentioned before, I had prior experience leading go-to-market for another prominent startup in the port terminal operating system world called Octopi, which was acquired by Navis in just over 2 years. And I was fortunate enough to travel a lot, build a lot of great relationships, which have served me quite well, especially, ours, for example, as well. Moving into more innovation and more sort of startups. So with Cargologik specifically, we're a freight collaboration and communication platform. And as you said, we're focused on helping small to medium independent freight forwarders and brokers better stay in sync, collaborate, and improve their operations in a lot of cases, especially now, the remote operations with their shippers, their customers, these small clients, that they have. So we're strategically kind of aiming at the small to medium independent market that's got to compete with some of these, large, established companies with huge tech and innovation budgets, FedEx, DHL. They got to compete with the shipping lines a little bit as well, in the sense that the shipping lines are kind of getting back into logistics and they're building, these new direct bookings platforms and investing a lot of money, into these sort of solutions that are very focused on the customer experience. And for the small to medium independent market, it's been quite a challenge for them and continues to be a challenge for them to try to keep up and to make these sort of investments, which they can't do, frankly, because they've been kind of stuck with the same sort of, 10, 15 loyal customers and a handful of one-off customers. So with Cargologik, the reason why, we're really excited about the platform is that we're specifically focused on helping the specific segment of the industry, which has previously been underserved, very similar to Octopi, have some really great tools and functionality that's going to help them build loyalty, drive revenue, and ultimately better stay in sync with one another and improve operations all the way around, as you mentioned. Right now, we're focused on continuing to iterate, and improving the product. We're learning every day, and we're pushing really hard with our team and an early traction, an early global client base that we're working with.
Absolutely. Well, great. So you're sort of always focusing on helping the small players, the smaller players, which in fact they're always an underserved segment because they collectively.
Yeah, they have a large segment of the market, and until now, I think technology really hasn't caught up to the point where it's really easy to use. It's easy not only for the forwarder but also for their shippers, and their small businesses that they work with, which historically has been difficult for their own customers as well. So a lot of the adoption, in our opinion, is tied to not only getting the freight forwarder to adopt, but getting the freight forwarding, the independent freight forwarder, small shippers, and those smaller customers to adopt the system. And I think, like you're saying, because it's a bigger chunk of the market, if you can focus on that chunk of the market and kind of solve it, for us, that's kind of really where the opportunity lays, because most of the solutions that are out there are kind of tailoring towards like these medium, really big, large and medium, big BCO type enterprises. And that's great. And we're happy to see the innovation coming at that level, kind of like from the top. But for the longest time, as you mentioned, these smaller players haven't had anything, and thus there's an imperative to adopt the technology. But the challenge that we also have is figuring out how to get this small fractured market that's using a ton of different solutions kind of on the same page, where they're open and willing to kind of engage this brand new platform as well.
Yeah. So proposing, offering a platform to get on the same page to 1,000 different solutions that are out there and that SMEs are at the moment using, in order to give them really a head into the digitized world of shipping. That's great. And how are you doing with customer development now as a startup? You started recently. How is it going? Are you in pilot phase? Do you have already clients? How's it going?
So it's going well. We're definitely executing, Leonardo, and I think we're par for the course. When it comes for startups, I don't think, especially in this industry, you're going to find many quote unquote overnight successes. So it just requires a lot of grinding, a lot of hustling, a lot of talking to customers, a lot of interactions, a lot of feedback. And then the challenge also for this industry is actually getting the type of quality feedback that you need to build a great product. So yes, you'll get beta testers, but even a small subsection of that, or the active beta testers that you want, that kind of see your vision, understand that you're not going to have all the features, but can ride with you along the journey, understanding where you're going to be and where you won't fit in the market. And they really like our user experience, the interface, and our approach, when it comes to collaboration. So that's kind of the commonality that we have amongst our entire client base that we're iterating with. As of now, we've got, I believe, 57, so just under 60 accounts around the world, which we're happy. Not all of them are paying yet. Actually, a small portion are paying right now. So we're working on improving that and delivering additional functionalities that we kind of know that we need to get accomplished within the next 2 or 3 months to retain the majority of these users. But it's still very much early for us. We were in a private beta. We launched out of this private beta, and you can call it an open beta, but definitely still iterating towards a product market fit. As of September, we started charging our customers as well with a 15-day free trial. No credit cards required, which is also new to this industry. We also designed the application kind of on that note to kind of emulate Slack and be very inviting, very friendly, very warm, not so formal. And the invitation to join that freight forwarder that is giving extended to the shipper that's part of our application's equation is going to be something that's going to be very easy for them to kind of adopt, and it's going to be coming from someone that they know. So I think we designed our application based on a lot of the experiences that I had, and just knowing how everyone is sort of looking over their shoulder in this industry, and kind of overcoming a lot of these challenges, not only at the forwarder level from the adoption perspective, but also the shipper level as well. So right now we just have just under 60, which we're really happy about. By the end of the year, we want to get closer to 100. naturally. But we're working hard and iterating every day to focus on the engagement aspect of making sure that this application is driving value, and not only driving value, but we want the users that we have coming back to us all the time. So we're not 100% there yet, but it's definitely something that I think we're par for the course now, and working on the engagement aspects as we speak.
Yeah, absolutely. For an app, the engagement and recurring customers is a must, and you have to build. Also, you have to educate your client, your customers, about
Absolutely.
this fact that is positive and valuable for them as well. And actually, also starting from a private and then open beta with few non-paying customers allows you to learn about what they really need and shape the product around them. And then you are finally at product market fit, and you can finally start charging them for the value that they get. And you charge them in a way that is very interesting and novel for the industry. This 50 days free trial with no credit card and basically no commitment. The only commitment is yours to provide them the value that they will want to stick and they will want to pay for. And that's great. That's the winning mentality of a startup, of a modern startup, that has to convince a market that is always more difficult to convince in a way, because it's everybody has this resistance to change, which is particularly strong in our industry, I would say.
Absolutely.
Great. It's great to hear, and the target of 100 by end of year definitely is there, and you're gonna reach it. Now, growth. It means also investment.
Correct.
So I would imagine that you are going to need to finance this growth. So are you going to fundraise? Are you planning to fundraise? If so, in what range? If you can say the figures, the exact figures, and if you have some specific investors profile that you would like to really get their interest.
Yeah, absolutely, Leonardo. Thank you for asking. So we are at you're right. We're absolutely seeking funding. I think growth requires it and mandates it. There's no overnight successes, like I was saying, in these sort of solutions, especially in this industry. We're fortunate enough to have some really great corporate backers with a company called Rocker Labs, right here in Miami, which is a digital consultancy. And also a venture builder. So they're like a digital co-builder. We call them like our technical co-founder. So they've actually have experience launching, many ventures, as well as like a venture fund arm. And then there's also Grupo Holco, which is who the venture actually started out with between Rocker, and Grupo Holco. And Grupo Holco is where my co-founder is from. It's his family. He's third generation there. And they're based out of Guayaquil, Ecuador, but they've operated port terminals, container depots, warehouses. They have and they are the evergreen agency in Guayaquil, Ecuador as well. And him being third generation and growing up in the business, gives us a nice leg up with some investors that have deeper pockets, to support us. But nonetheless, these early investors do want to see the value of their investments also increase, as do I, right? As does everyone on our team. So we are raising, we're still pre-revenue. We're raising a seed round. We're aiming for roughly, 350 to 500K. That may change obviously based on the level of traction and engagement that we may have, these next couple of months. But we are, using a safe note, for that, and are open, to angel investors specifically, and ones that we feel are going to be very strategic. Also lending insights, from their own expertise and experience, but also being able to pick up the phone and make a call, to someone within their network or their own organization that can adopt and start using the technology as well. So we're looking for strategic angels, within the industry, and even institutional partners, right? Even institutional investors who may be interested in diversifying their operations and getting into technology innovation into SaaS. And adding that to their, sort of standard, logistics portfolio. So we're open to those two types of investors, but also, very much open to any sort of conversations, that we can have, because I think that even if you're talking to someone from M&A, or you're talking to someone that's more of a Series A, you want to build these relationships sort of earlier on as well. So for the purposes of the people watching the video, and you're following Leonardo, we're open to talk to anyone, but the top two profiles that we're looking for is that strategic industry angel that can pick up the phone, make a call for us, land our application, in accounts as well. And then the second one being, institutional corporate investors also that are looking to diversify their own, investments too.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Actually, coming from, being founded by a family that has a tradition in the industry, you have already the knowledge and the network and the portfolio of potential contacts, and so you don't need the strategic partner, but of course it always come handy to work with an angel who knows this stuff and who really can open more doors. Absolutely. Because of course you don't have all doors open on one side, and on the other side you're also in the position to add value to an institutional investor, because you Absolutely. Bring this expertise yourself, and of course open also to anyone else who is interested.
You know us, Leonardo. We're always open to chat and connect
exactly.
with smart people and,
exactly. It's how particularly early startups go, because when you're when you know what you're doing, you have access to the market already. You can really look at any type of money, and of course, some types of money are particularly interesting angels and institutional partners for you. So I really hope that if some investors of any type hear this, they might get interested in what you do, and definitely I can vouch for the team, knowing that you are in the team and knowing what you did before, and what you did in these relatively few months, building something that is already being used and is already being monetized. Because I think this is the most important thing for an investor. At some point says, okay, these things makes money. So, and adds value. Very Absolutely. Interesting for the industry. So we have both audiences that should be very interested in what you're doing. So I think that we have a good picture of what you are, what you do, and where you're going. And I would really thank you for being here with us today. I hope you enjoyed I enjoyed the call immensely, and I hope also our viewers will.
Thank you, Leonardo.
Miles Varghese from Cargologik. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leonardo. Appreciate it. Thank you for being an advocate for the industry, man, and supporting supporting the globe, in this great endeavor, and these crazy times where things are changing so rapidly and evolving, and people are starting to figure that out. You were early, so thank you for supporting everyone, and including myself, in the earlier days as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Everyone,
all right, Leonardo.
Cheers.
Take care. Bye.